What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And I host the only online show in the world for fathers and dads that's sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And I'd like to say that I've been blessed to directly or indirectly reach out to over 75,000 fathers this year. And one other thing I do, amongst others, is I'm the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is a multimedia not-for-profit that showcases Blacks in the diaspora that are doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. But all that stuff is behind me tonight because we're continuing on our great conversations called Black Entrepreneurs Win With Us Wednesdays. For those who know and for those who don't know, it's all about featuring exclusive access to some of Canada's most successful Black entrepreneurs and their wins, big and small. No shade, all shine. And we're inviting Black-owned business owners across this country to join us and share their wins and their successes and their stories. You as listeners can listen, can learn, and engage with the guests during the show. And as we do each show, our friends will be offering a special offer to you. Now, before we go any further, if you're watching this live, please put in the comments section on whatever platform you're watching on. Tell us where you're chiming in from. But before we go any further, I'd love to bring on my beautiful, wonderful, talented, and blessed co-host, Jaydee. How are you?
I'm okay, Dr. Vibe. I'm wonderful. I'm awesome. What a presentation. Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah, I did that and I didn't breathe, you know? I didn't breathe. I
breathe,
put that
breathe.
on.
We need that. We need you to breathe for an hour right now, please.
Well, you know, I'll save it. I'll make sure I'm resourceful. How have you been over the last week?
I've been awesome, great, very favored. I've had auditions after auditions, callbacks, and things are moving along, and projects are, also moving along at a really great pace. So I'm very favored.
Fantastic. And how's the heat and humidity in Montreal?
Very hot, very hot. I don't know if you can hear my fan in the background and the AC, but it's like, but we're not going to complain, Dr. Vibe, because summer is quite short. And after that, we have snow coming in. So, hey, we're from the Caribbean. We're used to the heat, even though it's very hot, but it's fine.
Yeah, I know it's coming, and I have spent some time in Montreal in winter where I've driven to Montreal, and in Toronto there's snow. So in Montreal there's snow up to my waist.
Yes, it has happened.
So it happens every once in a while. Looking forward to another epic conversation today with another new friend. And our new friend is Jaydee Tarpeh. He is a co-founder and CEO of Xenia, the Xenia education app. And we're going to bring him on the stage. He's going to share a little bit about himself and a little bit what Xenia is all about. So Jaydee, it's your time. Come on up.
Hi,
good evening.
I can't hear anything, so something needs to be fixed on the back end.
Oh, no.
You can't hear us? Oh, my goodness.
So in the meantime, while Luke is fixing that, our producer, je vais présenter en français Jaydee. Donc, vous savez qu'aujourd'hui, c'est la journée spéciale du mercredi avec l'émission de Dr. Vibe. On présente les entrepreneurs qui ont réussi dans notre communauté et ils nous parlent de leur histoire. Donc, Jaydee Tarpeh a produit une application qui s'appelle Xenia pour aider les étudiants internationaux qui viennent et qui arrivent et qui n'arrivent pas à s'adapter. Alors, voilà.
Wonderful. And as we're taking care of the technical challenges, I was going to ask this of you, but now since we have the opportunity, what are some of the highlights or what have you gained from the conversation so far?
Well, I'm very, it makes me even more motivated to continue my own projects, and I have been able also to try and connect the youth that I sometimes mentor towards, the guests or our friends, as we have called them, you understand? So to follow their leads. What about you, Dr. Vibe?
Well, for me, it just reinforces the avenue of entrepreneurship. And I do keep somewhat abreast of the media because I'm in media and so are you, that there was a report this week in the Wall Street Journal in the United States. And it was saying that many educated college and university graduates in the United States aren't getting ahead because they're spending so much money to go to school. When they get out of school, they're not getting the jobs and incomes that they thought they would get by going to school. So they're ending up way in debt. And nothing wrong against education, but we're showing in this series how entrepreneurs can make a wave. And I feel that for Black Canadians and Blacks around the world, I strongly believe if we're going to make a footprint and move ahead, economics, entrepreneurship is got to be part of that foundation.
Definitely.
So can you hear us now, sir?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
All right,
perfect.
here we go.
We are highly favored.
There we go. So we're all fixed up. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. It is a very hot Wednesday in Montreal, but I'm doing all right.
Cool. Well, I will let my esteemed and wonderful co-host start off with the questions.
Well, first of all, thank you for joining us, Jaydee, and
so
we can
much for
call you
having
Jaydee. We have to tell people that Jaydee is in Montreal right now, and it is super hot, so 40 degrees in the shade. So I wanted, first of all, to ask of you, because your platform, Xenia, what inspired you to create that?
First of all, thank you so much, Yarli and Dr. Vibe, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So to answer your question, I was an international student. I actually started as an international student in Canada back in 2011. Before that, I was also an international student in Lesotho when I started at 15. And so my cumulative journey from starting as an international student at 15 to coming to Canada and then going through university and facing all the struggles that international students face, like struggling to transition, adapt, and then getting involved in the university community and finding my way through. I saw the struggles that international students deal with. And through that time, I was always trying to find ways to help international students find their footing. And so after I graduated, I went on to work in education. And I saw that the international student population in Canada, since I started as an international student, had tripled just a few years later. But these students weren't getting the help that they needed to transition. And so we wanted to find a way to help these students integrate and transition into Canada, but also do it in a scalable way. And hence, software is the best way to do that. And that's why we started building this platform.
Dr. Vibe?
Can you tell me the moment that you said you found a need and you filled it? When was the moment you decided we're going to make this happen?
Oh, man. So I used to, in my job as a sales rep in education, I used to talk to a lot of international students. Sorry for the sweat here because it's really hot in the car.
No problem. No problem.
But I'm from Liberia, so it's hot. It's hot all the time. So I used to do a lot of class talks to international to students in general. But the fact that the international student population had grown like crazy, there were a lot of international students in these classes I was talking to. And generally, my class talks would be like 15 minutes or so. But they started lasting about an hour because the first 15 minutes would be talking about what I was actually there to talk about. And then the 45 minutes will be me taking questions from international students, answering questions about what they need to do, how they need to find different things, how they need to connect with other students, and things like that. And just like putting out this energy, and which I love, by the way. And it just clicked to me that these students need answers. These students are pretty much a deer in the headlights, and somebody needs to do something about it. And looking back on my experience, I'm like, if there's anybody who's going to solve this problem, it's going to be me. And that, everything just added up and came together. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the plunge and try to do it.
Like it.
So I'm a student, and let's say I'm an international student. how do I get connected? How do I find out about this app?
Yes. So our model, our business model is we sell to institutions, so universities and colleges. And as an international student, when you are accepted by your university or your college, they will send you a link to our platform, customized for the institution. You wouldn't even know it's us. You'll just see, let's say, if you are, let's say, Conestoga College, for example, you would get Conestoga, right? And so you would have access to our platform, and you have access to all the e-learning modules that are in there, as well as the community and all the amazing features that are built into the platform to help you transition into Canada, and for students in the U.S. to help you transition into the U.S.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Dr. Vibe?
Yeah. So if I understand this correctly, and I hopefully this will give clarification for people who are watching this live on replay, would you consider yourself the middle person between the institutions and the students?
Not necessarily, but we do certain parts of what we do does do that. So we provide the platform for these institutions to help their students. Now, these students are already their students. So we are just giving them this one place for them to be, for them to help their students. Now, we provide the platform for the students to easily contact them in some cases and easily access resources that are available to them. Another thing that we do is take the burden off of the institution and their staff of, say, creating resources for international students, because we do that, or some resources. We do that, and then allowing institutions, international students, to easily access the services and the resources that's already available to them on campus, but that 90% of them don't even know about or access right now.
And once you're on the platform, what do you offer? Do you offer workshops, mental health, or physical health knowledge, or what's the background? What do you offer to the students?
Without going too much into our intellectual property, one part about what we do is creating content. So we create really engaging e-learning content that is generally simulation based. So we see it as putting a student through a situation before they actually encounter that situation in real life. So they have access to a library of these resources that is constantly growing to cover everything from how to get set up in Canada to academic integrity to, at some point, career resources and things like that. And then within the platform, they also have access to connecting with peers, connecting with support, and different things, as well as later on things that they need. Pretty much, we are building this one place for international students to use to access anything and everything that they need to access in Canada, and we're going to be the portal for that.
Question for you: how many people do you have on your team? Because if you're providing on a continuous basis all this content, I hope it's not you doing everything. Because if you're sweating now, you got to be really sweating doing all of that. So So how many people are on your team, and what roles do they have? And has your team grown since you first started this opportunity?
So first of all, we are a young company, and we've been bootstrapping this thing. My co-founder is an experienced instructional designer and a computer scientist. And so I do most of the business side. I do some of the subject matter as well, but we are two on the core team, expanding over the next couple of months. But we do hire freelancers and contractors to do some of the work for us. Like I said, we are a small team, and we are actually gearing up to go out and raise funding to build up our team.
Yardley?
Your partner is doing, and what's his background? What about your background for you to be able to do and take care, other than the fact that you were an international student, like your background at school and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my co-founder is based in Windsor. Our company is registered in Windsor. He is by training electrical engineer, but over the last pretty much decade, he's worked as an instructional designer and a programmer. And so he takes care of the technology side of things. For me, I have deep industry experience, industry insight through my experience as an international student, my experience as like I said, I was very active on campus. I was the president of the student union at University of Windsor, and through my work in the education industry. So I've worked in education as well. So I know the industry, I know the content, and I pretty much speak to the clients, help with some of the subject matter as well. And that's what we do on the core team, and then other folks come in to help build things out.
Dr. Vibe?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of a break for our guests and for everyone that's watching. Again, if you have any questions, comments, please put them in the chat. We're monitoring the chat rooms on all the different platforms that you're watching this on in real time. But before we go to the chat, just want to give a little bit of a share message here. There's an organization called the Rising Youth Community, and they have Rising Youth Community grants that empower young people ages from 15 to 30 to imagine ideas that they can support their local community and help put those ideas into action. The grants are $250, $750, or $1,500. If you have an idea to support your community and you're in the 15 to 30-year-old age bracket, Rising Youth can help you bring it to life. To learn more about it, and to apply for a grant, please visit the website at https://dreamlegacy.risingyouth.ca. And we've got a little commercial about the Rising Youth Community Service Initiative. So we'll be back right after that.
As 2020 came and stayed and disappointed and surprised, I was hopeful that this experience comes with the opportunity to learn and foster resilience.
These past couple of months have honestly been some of the most rewarding and transformative months of my life.
Quand j'ai appliqué à Rising Youth, je m'attendais vraiment pas à autant de support. Tout au long de la procédure, l'équipe était disponible pour répondre à toutes mes questions, ce qui faisait que j'avais vraiment aucune inquiétude sur la planification.
My Rising Youth alumni project is called Sports with Social Impact, really raising awareness of the many versatile ways that sport can contribute to community development.
The way we start is like we have these regular basketball nights. We have a bunch of kids. They show up every single game.
We target our support towards under-recognized essential workers, or essential workers that we believe don't get the recognition they deserve.
We kind of came up with this idea together on how we could just really benefit these people that work so hard for these kids in our community.
We created a tool that allows website creators to make their websites more accessible.
I'm glad that I've been able to give back to the organization and that alumni are continually improving technological education for all Canadians.
CodePack aims to alleviate some stresses associated with families who were struggling to find accessible and also informative educational activities during the pandemic.
Après l'événement, j'ai même eu la chance de devenir ambassadrice avec Rising Youth, donc alumni, ce qui me permet d'avoir accès à des options exclusives et rémunérées pour développer mon leadership et aussi à diverses opportunités d'apprentissage.
I learned so much about project management, about what it means to be a leader, what it means to work in a team, and how to serve your community.
For me, it's always been about making sure that people coming after me don't experience the same hurdles, challenges, and obstacles that I'd experienced.
The words can't even explain, I'm getting choked up. I'm just so grateful for this grant because it gives us the chance to come together as a family and to work on this.
So to take the time to support each other, to listen, to learn, to share, and to act.
This is really going to help change some lives, I feel.
All right, and if our producer we have some reading to do image-wise, so if our producer can put it up, I'm going to read en anglais, and then Yardley is going to read en français. En français. And if our producer can put up the English image up first, and then once I'm done, we'll put up the French image.
I think it's actually the bilingual image he's going to
Okay, bilingual. So we are just waiting for that to go on screen. And we're giving some, and we've got that beautiful look. And then we have the
Jeunesse en Action for the French, so people could know. Rising Youth is Jeunesse en Action, subvention de services communautaires.
There we go. And so, do you have a simple project idea to support your community? Taking It Global, acronym TIG, is looking for young people aged 15 to 30 who are inspired with ideas and ready to take action through youth-led community service grants. And again, 3 levels of service grants available: $250, $750, and $1,500. Process is you design a project, you apply for the funding, you launch your project, and you share the impact. Mademoiselle Yardley?
Merci. As-tu une idée de projet simple pour soutenir ta communauté? Taking It Global, TIG ou TIG, est à la recherche de jeunes âgés de 15 à 30 ans qui sont inspirés avec des idées et prêts à agir à l'aide de subventions jeunesse de services communautaires. Nous avons 3 niveaux de subventions disponibles, $250, $750 et $1,500. Comment ça fonctionne? Vous présentez une demande de financement, vous lancez votre projet, vous partagez l'impact. Voilà, c'était pour Rising Youth ou Jeunesse en Action.
Wonderful. So let's bring our friend back. And Yardley, the questions are back in your lap.
We're back. My God. Okay, so I wanted to know in the future, have you already thought about where you want to be? Because right now, are you around Canada? Or are you only based in Ontario? Or that's what I want to know. Like in 3 years, where do you see yourself?
Thanks for that question, Yardley. So we have a big vision to build a massive company. And first of all, I think that it's very important for us as Black folks to just build like that. So our 3-year vision, for example, so right now we are Canada-based, all across Canada, with certain institutions. And next step is expanding to the US. We are doing that next year. And because Canada and the US are big enough markets, we are going to stick around that for around 3 years. And beyond that, we're expanding to the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, for the purposes that these markets are similar, and they fit in our industry. So there are strategic reasons for that expansion. So that's our goal. We are building a massive company, and we're expanding globally.
Wonderful. We have a question here from the audience. How have the universities responded to the business idea of this platform?
That's a great question. So there are a couple of things. Universities, we are in the sort of B2E space, business education, because that's sort of its own thing. Universities, colleges, they know the problem. So the problem we're solving has existed for decades. They see our platform as very useful. A lot of them have been trying to solve this. So the reception has been warm. Now, over the last months, year, we've been selling to them. We are piloting with certain institutions. So we've kept our pilots small intentionally so that we can service the folks that we're working with, and service the students that we're working with, and really refine our product very well. But so far, the response from the universities have been fairly positive. Now, in terms of working with them and taking that process through to a deal, those are things that are still in the works. We're figuring out the kinks from there, but overwhelmingly, the need for the platform is there, and they know that.
Yardley.
I was wondering, since this platform exists and you are dealing with students and university, do the universities pay you, or does the student have to pay for the app, the services?
Yeah, so intentionally, we've designed our product for the students not to pay anything. So the universities are the ones that pay for the product, and it's always going to be like that. As we expand, we don't intend to charge students for using Guide.
I have a question for you. If what are some, because it's August and it's getting time for students to start applying, if not already applying. I know some of the students that are helping me over the summer are getting ready to put their courses. Could you educate us, for those who don't know, what are some of the common challenges that international students have when it comes to going to post-secondary institutions outside of their home country?
Yeah, so there's a host of things that students deal with. I've been in Canada 10 years this month, and I'm still dealing with a lot of international student problems. So in terms of how we work, a little back end, students have access to our platform when they've already been accepted by the institutions. So students coming in, if a student is applying now.
So Jaydee, can I just interrupt there? So once they get accepted, how do they find out about your platform?
Exactly. So when they're accepted, they're coming. So right now, let's say a student is coming in September or in August, because they get here in August. They'll have access to our platform right now in August. So we're actually going live in a week. But before, by next year, they'll have access to our platform by July, June, through the university. So the university the way the process usually works is when a student is accepted, they're about to come, institutions send them messages. And so one of that will be for them to access our platform. And then from there, they will be now communicating with the institution, getting support, and accessing resources through the Guide platform.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, how they, so if the university is pitching for you, that saves you a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, absolutely. So the resources that we have in our platform are things that students need. And some universities would mandate our platform, while others will just be like, okay, yeah, students can get in if they want to. But as an international student coming, at this point, you are very confused. You are looking for resources. So where they send you to find those resources is where you'll go.
Yardley.
I have a question, meaning, couldn't you have already, I don't know, prepackaged something so that the students that are outside would find out about it just before coming, so it would be easier already to adapt? Would that be possible, maybe to post-secondary or?
Well, for students who are not going through a specific institution that we're working with, is that your question?
Well, let's say I'm a student and I'm in Australia, and I want to come in, and I know nothing. I'm thinking maybe it would be nice to have like a little package already presented as I'm applying. Do you understand? Not just getting in and finding out that I'm here and I still know nothing because I'm starting off, knowing nothing. So would that be possible that your platform would start maybe with the post-secondary so they find out?
I like to say anything is possible. But we've made a business decision to focus on the area that we're focusing on, because when a student is applying, they are not a student yet of any institution. When a student is accepted, they can be accepted by multiple institutions, so they are not a student yet, and so they have access to our platform when they are a student of the institution we're working with. Now, there are resources out there to help them before that point. And we actually release resources to help them before that point, but that's not the purpose of our platform.
All right. I have a question here from the audience. Do you see universities adopting their programs to address any barriers and support you providing enhanced services?
Can you repeat the question?
It's up here on the screen also. Do you see universities adapting their programs to address any barriers and support you providing enhanced services. So I believe what Ms. Pierce is asking is that if things come up that students are experiencing that you're not offering,
right,
would you approach educational institutions to work with them to provide these services?
So yes, yes, and the way we are designed and the way we've designed our platform is this agile development in a growing library. So right now we have a specific set of resources that we have because we are a small team and we're a startup. In a year's time, we'll have 5 times the amount that we have now, and on and on and on. So the way our platform is designed is for us to meet the most needs of international students, and as new needs come up, we add resources. But secondly, the resources that we have, and this is the advantage that we offer to institutions, is that we call it evergreen. It's always updated. So the problems that students face now are always evolving, and as they evolve, our content evolves with them. Now, in terms of universities, reworking their programs and adapting their programs, that's up to them. But we work closely with the institutions to see what their students need. Now, just to note, we focus on the non-academic side, so we are not sort of doing anything with in-class things or providing resources for in-classes. It's the non-academic student support side of things that we work with.
Yardley.
I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry, the mic was muted. Something that has nothing to do with the app, but at the same time that is helping the students that you have organized, because you're still a kid at heart. Would you kindly tell us how you've been organizing these meetups?
So just as a background, I organize. So I'm in Montreal. Recently moved to Montreal, and my way of getting involved in the Montreal community is to bring people together, because that's something that I know how to do. And so what I do is I organize these meetups where adults come together, and we have people from all over the world come together and share children's games that they used to enjoy as kids, and they share it with the group, teach it to the group, and the group plays these children's games. So it's a bunch of adults playing kids' games, and I organize that bi-weekly in Montreal here.
Wonderful. That is cool. That is cool. One of the things that we get our friends that come on the platform to talk about is community benefits. And community benefits, by definition, is a framework to maximize dollars already being spent with very little additional investment. It helps us foster a more equitable approach to economic development where the whole community may prosper. So some types of benefits commonly include jobs, training, apprenticeships for targeted groups, and opportunities for local businesses and social enterprises. But additional benefits can range from affordable housing to energy reduction projects and public space improvements. So how do you see your enterprise aligning in regards to community benefits?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So first of all, my co-founder and I we volunteer with Black Boys Code, helping Black kids in Windsor learn how to code. And it's as simple as that. And so with our company, I always like to say it is important that Black folks like us build these companies, these startups, to bring money into the Black community to circulate it, and show solving problems for people who are not within our community, to bring that money within our community. And I think that's what we're doing. On top of that, a lot of international students in Canada or around the world fit into the community of like students who are coming from Africa, the Caribbean, and everywhere do fit in the community. And my experience that's pretty much driving this company speaks to that. And so on multiple levels, one, we are solving the problems for students who fit into the community, but also bringing dollars into the community, I think, is very important.
Yardley, on You're on mute. Go ahead.
Please. Thank you. Can I ask you, how have you stayed connected to your African roots?
That is awesome. So over the years, so I actually used to do a podcast called 10,000 Africans, which it's on a hiatus now. If somebody is out there and wants to be the producer, let me know. I can always get back on. That's the only thing that's missing, because we had amazing people, entrepreneurs who built billion-dollar companies, former presidents and things like that on. I just didn't have the bandwidth to continue to produce it. But anyway, so I've done that. I generally stay connected with folks back home. In 2018, I was actually named one of the most influential people of African descent as well. And on a hobby level, I grow hot peppers and I make hot sauce. so that keeps me connected to my root. But on the general scale, I continue to stay in conversation, try to do things with folks back home, support Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs as well. I'm always involved in the community. It's part of me, and it's something that I'm always connected with.
We'll give you one more question, and it actually is from the audience. D South is asking, can you talk about your funding needs to better scale your promotion or platform, excuse me, and what is the biggest challenge about being a Black Canadian entrepreneur?
Awesome. That's a great question. So I'll take it back from the second part of the question. So as a Black entrepreneur in the sort of in the startup space and in the education space in general, because one of the things is somebody actually pointed out to me. It was a white person that pointed out to me. We had this opportunity that we were chasing, and we were talking to multiple institutions, pretty much offering them some stuff for free, pretty much doing the work for them. But it was taking me such a hard time to get through to these folks for them to take us on and all of that. And one of our advisors said, you know what, Jaydee, this seems very racial, because if it was like me, a white guy, offering this and doing this, quickly these folks will pick it up. But it seems like it's harder for you as a Black entrepreneur. So as a Black entrepreneur, those are things that you go through. And then in the startup space, the same thing exists. And so but we know those things, and we know what we're going through. And so we just prepare ourselves and make sure we're doing twice the work and working twice as hard to make sure that we move forward. Now, in terms of our funding needs, we are actually preparing, and we already started talking to investors around raising our first pre-seed round. We are raising around $250,000 to scale up our product development. It's already in there, but we want to bring in more, really scale our content creation and our product development. And so that's why we're raising to build up our core team. So yeah, technically we are open, and we're going harder at the end of this month, because that's when we would have already launched our product and it'll all be in the market. So yeah, if you're an investor, if you want to be an angel investor, feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, we're taking money.
Jaydee, because we will have to wrap up pretty soon. You know that all our friends who visit us, who come for this wonderful conversation and so that we can get to know them, they always have this special offer for us. And I was wondering, what was yours?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Yardley. Since we sell to institutions, one of the things that I feel like that I can offer is a free 30-minute consultation with me if you're an international student who wants to, whether you're here or even coming in. I would do a 30-minute consultation with you, help guide you through what you need to do to get set up in Canada, and take pretty much any question about anything as an international student, because this is my space from jobs to getting set up in Canada. And then if you are, I always like to say, I am a professional at moving to different cities. So if you just move to a new city or anything like that, I'll talk to you to help you find your way in a new city, and just getting set up in a new space.
Okay. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yes.
Well, that is good. And
but how many people? Is it 5 people? Or
yes.
5? We want to know because we're going to get the question. So we want to know: is it the first one, the first 5?
I was warned about this, but yeah. So the first 5 people that reach out, I would definitely commit the time. If it goes beyond that, we can always arrange something. But yeah, the first 5 people, yeah, reach out.
Thank you. Before we leave, Dr. Vibe, there was a last question about Australia.
Yes, this is a longtime Dr. Vibe supporter, David Hughes from Australia. Hope David is doing fine. When expanding into Australia, are you targeting the east coast of Australia, which is where 70% of New South Wales, Victoria are the biggest markets?
Yes. So New South Wales is definitely our first target in Australia. And Australia has a very similar profile to Canada in the international education space. So yeah, we've definitely been keeping an eye on Australia.
I would make a strong suggestion. When you are ready to go to Australia, David Hughes would be someone you should reach out to. Is a very good associate of mine from down under and knows the Australian marketplace rather well, and is also an international Toastmaster. And by the way, what is your Instagram?
Oh, my Instagram is Jaydee Speaks.
All right.
Yeah. Because people are going to connect with you, the 5 first people. Already somebody said, hit me up.
Yes, absolutely. And David, I would probably... David, I would love to connect with you. Let's just start having those conversations now. But yeah, my Instagram is Jaydee Speaks. My TikTok, my everything is Jaydee Speaks.
Can you spell it out for the people just in case?
So it's JaydeeSpeaks.
Perfect.
Yeah, I actually do TikTok videos too, by the way.
Well, that's great.
That is fantastic. Well, Jaydee, thank you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule to share with us. And thank you for finding a need and filling it. Very, very important that you've done that. And I am speaking success. I'm sure I'm speaking with Yardley on this. Speaking of success and cooler weather.
Yes, definitely. Go get yourself a fan or something.
All right. But I appreciate under the circumstances everything, and please stay in touch. And yes, if you're wanting to reach out to David, please reach out to me. Take care, be well, and to walk good and stay safe.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Success.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a very positive time with both of you. And I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And for all those who are reaching out, I look forward to talking to you.
Blessings. Take care. Well, that is an international person to the true sense, eh?
Definitely, because he's very brave. As a young man at 15, coming out from a very difficult background. We didn't get into that because I thought that was pretty personal, but and leaving his country and coming to a new country at 15 and trying to build up on that. Going to university, making friends, trying to adapt. In our previous conversations with him, do you remember that he was saying there's a lot of international students that think about suicide? I tapped in a little bit on mental health, but I saw that he didn't want to go too far on that tonight. So I said, it's okay. We have our, after show. We'll be able to tap in on that.
Well, speaking about after shows, the master and the host of our after shows, Eldon Holder Jr. Come on up and bring it.
Welcome, Eldon.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. What an awesome rock star Jaydee is. I was sitting here and I was literally taking notes down, just the insight that he has into assimilating into communities, identifying a need, changing the dynamic, and it just seems like he's got so many talents. I say that for guys like that, we really have to support them and amplify their message, because those are they're the leaders of today, but their companies are what's going to shape the country that we live in, and it's doing it right now as we speak. I don't know if you picked up on it, but it seemed as though that he was sort of hinting that in the not too distant future, he's looking to expand not only into other provinces, but other countries, and he's looking for investors. So I know there were some folks who chimed in with us last week, and we're looking to invest in some of the other companies. I think Builder was looking to do a seed raise as well. So guys, reach out to them, find them on Instagram, lock in with us on Instagram as well, and we'll be happy to do the connection. So the reason why I come on the show at the end is largely to remind us sort of why we are here, and at the same time the impetus of this entire show, which is to advocate and to bring communities together to circulate our dollars. So we might have contacts at universities or colleges that we can open doors for Jaydee to get in there and showcase his business. We might have international students who might need that program. So the Baobab Principles are something you may have heard over the course of our show. We're on episode 5 of this principle, and I don't know, maybe Luke, I don't know if you have this, but do you have a picture of the Baobab? Because I think folks, sometimes they don't really know, like, what is a baobab or a baobab, and oftentimes I try to describe it to them, but it's such a larger than life figure that it's really hard to sort of describe it. So maybe on another show we'll get one of those baobabs back up on the screen to showcase. There it is. There's the baobab. So look at these are massive trees, and they populate across Madagascar and also in South Africa, and they exist today. Like they are currently living trees, and they are known for their vascular size and their ability to retain water. But more importantly, they have lived for thousands and thousands of years, and they have been resilient. And that's kind of the story of these entrepreneurs and us as Black people. So that's why we chose the Baobab Principles as something we want to guide our journey with. So we did be honest. I covered that. Be honest with ourselves, be honest with our community, be honest with our true needs and desires. We skipped over A, and Dr. Vibe caught me on this last Wednesday, the Afrocentric piece. We jumped right into overcoming obstacles because Natasha from Calgary was talking about, every rejection is just a misdirection. And we got so excited that we jumped right into the obstacle piece. But the Afrocentricity aspect is so important. And I think someone in the chat asked the question, how do you stay connected to your African roots? How do you learn about your African ancestry? Well, this is the decade for people of African descent. And we wanted to ensure that regardless of how many shows we do, although this is just a pilot, we maintain that reminder that the cradle of civilization is the continent of Africa. So take the time to learn about our history in that way, and remember that the whole enslaved mindset that has been portrayed and the colonization has actually interrupted our greatness as people of African descent. So learn about that. Learn about Mansa Musa. Learn about some of the heritages and the stories that exist. But the B is where I want to take us to today. So we jumped over the A, the O, and now we're getting to the B. Build together and buy Black. See, right now I'm tuned in from Milton, Ontario, and had a great conversation about this right before the show. How do we circulate dollars in our Black community, and how do we engage in that in an honest and open way? And someone on WhatsApp sent me a video not too long ago, and I wanted to play it because many other communities do this very well. They support each other in a way that allows for them to have success. And that's really what the B in Baobab, the second B, stands for, is being able to build together and buy Black. And I want to play this video because I think it sets the tone for everything that happens after this episode and as we continue throughout this decade. So I don't know if the production team can cue this up.
Secret number 3, community, community, community. I see so many times that there are communities out there that unfortunately do not want each other to be successful. They tear each other down. In Yiddish, there is a word called fargin, which means that you are happy for another person's success. In order for a person to be successful, you need a community of people around you that are cheering for you, that are encouraging you, that are financing you, and that are giving you business and are trying to see you succeed. So in order to grow, in order to become great, you need to have a community around you, and the Jewish community does this great. It's very common that a lot of times when somebody starts out a new business, people will give him or her business in order to get them started, even if their pricing isn't the best and even if their quality is not the best. But we want the community to succeed. Get around great people that want to see you win.
Awesome. I don't think I could have put it any better myself, and sometimes you don't have to. I think this is an opportunity for us to really work and think long and hard about how we can build together and support each other. If you have a Black-owned business in your community, support them. Take $100 out of your regular groceries and buy it from a Black-owned grocer. Tip your barber. If you need to get a nice suit tailored, get it tailored by a Black tailor. And there's a lot of services that are online to do this. So that's our B for today. And I wanted to leave folks with that message because we got a couple more episodes left. And we were recently sponsored by the Rising Youth Initiative, which is all about bringing young people together and allowing for them to grow their civic engagement and giving them the resources that they need. So tune in for the next couple of episodes, and you'll continue to see a lot of really cool youth coming onto our show. But more importantly, they'll be coming onto the show and being surrounded by their community who want to see them thrive. So Yardley and Dr. Vibe, I don't know if you have ever thought about how you can support Black or how you can buy Black or build together, because it's hard to build online platforms, right? Even in the context of this show, getting folks to kind of tune in really requires some effort. So I don't know if you have had any experiences like that you can share about how you have been able to support other Black-owned businesses or support other Black initiatives to ensure that they can be part of this concept, Fargin or Baobab.
Oh, okay. My mic was muted.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Luke. So that's the way I've been brought up, to help somebody else. Like if I'm going to go do my hair, I'm not going to go see, sorry to say it, but a white hairdresser. I'm going to support the hairdresser from my community. Even though maybe she doesn't have always the same special, I'm going to wait a little longer. But if we don't help our own community, it will never grow. So, that's the way it is. Locally, if I have to buy some type of food or I need a Caribbean market, yes, it might be a little more expensive. But at one point, he'll have better prices. And, sometimes I talk to them and I say, the way you greet folks, that's very important if you want folks to come back. So we need to be able to teach each other, listen to one another, and of course, help one another, like not trying to bash one another. Dr. Vibe?
I think the easiest way I've been doing that for a number of years. I have over 3,500 conversations featuring mostly Black people sharing their story, because wealth is not how much you make, folks. Wealth is what community you have and what relationships you have. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you have a lot of wealth. So the wealth is in relationships and how much you are giving back. It doesn't have to be money. The greatest thing that we have in life is time. Remember, folks, time never lost a fight.
And on that note, I think you've given us the perfect segue. So, folks, we appreciate you to sort of tune into this engaging, epic conversation, as Dr. Vibe would often put it. But this is incumbent on us as a community to build the type of relations and the type of economic empowerment that we want to see. Every dollar is a vote, and every opportunity to engage with the business is going to support another community member. So I really appreciate everyone tuning in. And Dr. Vibe, I know you usually have a nice sort of takeaway message for us. I don't know if you got any more gems for us.
I do have it all queued up and ready to go. So, this is apropos, because one of the things that a number of Black people, not only in this country or around the world, sometimes are emotionally challenged. So this is my message for our episode today. It's titled, Don't Stuff Your Emotions Down. It's okay to let it out sometimes. Don't feel bad if that's what you need. Life can be a bit of a pressure cooker at times. And like an actual pressure cooker, You've got to hit the release valve every so often so that the whole thing doesn't explode in your face. You're only human, so be human, not just once, but all the time, and let yourself feel.
Exactly.
So I would also I'd like to thank everyone who, especially the engagement tonight. We've had people in I don't want to miss anyone's name, so I'm not going to say, because if I say, I'm going to get in trouble.
I saw Auntie Sylvia.
Yes. Okay. So but you see, if you mention her name, you got to mention other people's names. So
that's it.
Yeah. So David from Australia, Andy. We had Joseph. We had Easy Edge. I love that name, Easy Edge. Of course, DLF, D South, and basically that's it. So we're going to be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, featuring another friend of the Black entrepreneur community. As always, we'd like to say thank you for taking the time. And as always, we close off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. And love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace. Big thanks to Dream Legacy Foundation, BIA Media for the production, and everyone who watched. Because remember, when we work together, we win together. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. And bye, everybody.